The Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. With your hosts, Joe Bob.
You're awful.
And AJ Applegarth.
It's Sin Shu Chu. It's a mouthful.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, my co-host, sporting the pink F6P shirt, AJ Applegarth. What's up, man?
Feeling good. Got a new, less invasive of a mullet-looking do. Less of hair up top. That was already there. And, pink shirt. Beer ready to crack open, and I'm ready to do this.
Looks like we all got haircuts. I think producer Jeff got one too, man. Yeah, it's like we didn't play this at all. This is kind of random. I got one on Sunday, so yeah, good stuff, man. It was time. So
yeah, I was ready. I was ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, I did almost have the guy just let me do a mullet, but then I was just like,
no, dude. Nah,
yeah.
You're good. So before we continue, want to remind everybody to, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow us wherever you're watching or listening to us. We appreciate the support and helps us out. So there's no guest this week. Sorry. As it says down there, you're stuck with us. I'm sorry. But we still get to do our beer of the week.
Beer.
All right, AJ.
All right. I guess I'll just try. Oh, yeah.
All right.
This is the Sublimated Dreams Double India Pale Ale with New Zealand grown hops.
All right.
This one is out of, I believe, Burlington Beer Company. My apologies, Burlington. Quite a delicious, tasty little treat, though. Interesting hops for sure, but it's good.
Cool. So I'm drinking another local brew, Odenton, Maryland. It is from Crooked Crab Brewing. It is Jumbo Lump. I love their cans. Their cans are funny.
Nice.
Jumbo Lump. And it is brewed with, I believe, Fruity Vic Secret, Simcoe, and Mosaic. It's pretty smooth. It is an 8.5 double IPA, and it's a hazy as well. So, cheers.
The whole reason I could actually describe the taste of that beer is because I have had it before. So, in case our listeners were wondering,
I cheated, and I have had it, but I also cheated and used Untap, which I just checked it in, gave it a 4 1/4. I know Jeff would approve as he shakes his head and rolls his eyes. I like my beers. I buy good beers on purpose, Jeff. Relax. I don't like to check in 2.5s. Anyway. All right. So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to cover some recent injury news and update you with all of that.
Thank you, Dylan.
Then we're going to give in. Yeah. Cheers, man. Then we're going to get into some ad drops. We're 3-ish weeks into the season, and it's time to really start thinking about changing your roster over who we looking at dropping or maybe moving on from via trade or et cetera, and who should be on your radar as far as guys who are severely underowned in our opinion. So we'll get there, and then at the end, producer Jeff's going to join us, and we're gonna have a little game of who would you rather roster. So it'll be fun. And AJ and I will probably be wrong on every single one of those because I'm sure Jeff made it very fun. So anyway, let's jump in here with the injuries. AJ, lead the way, man.
All right. We will start off with Mr. Juan Soto. He is dealing with a left shoulder strain right now. And a Masson report came out yesterday that said the injury does not appear serious. That is good news. But take a wait and see approach. Who you got?
Yeah, man. The Juan Soto one, man. The Juan Soto one is it's rough. That kind of came out of nowhere. Like it just kind of
Yeah.
popped up right before game time. It felt like, and I know the boys over there on the On Deck Circle podcast talked about it on Tuesday. So go ahead and check that one out. I'm sure they had a lot more in depth action than we're going to get into. But that's a painful injury for everybody. He was like 1, 2, 3 top pick here. So. Nobody really was called up that's worth a damn, so don't even worry about that. But you just got to bide your time with him, and hopefully it really isn't serious. Moving on here to Cody Bellinger, and we talked about this last week where we thought it was just he was dealing with swelling in the calf that got spiked, or in the shin that got spiked. Turns out he has a hairline fracture. Okay. How did that not get caught on scans or whatever the hell they did after? Like, I don't get it. But anyway, they found out it was a hairline fracture. That's why it wasn't healing. And so it's Cody Bellinger's come out and said it's still painful. He's done light running on it, which I guess is good news. He took batting practice today, but it still sounds like it could be a little while until he's back. So, we're going to see a lot more of, AJ Pollock getting outfield reps and things like that, who usually sits every now and then. So, I guess, if you want to go out there and grab him, fine, but he's not having a great start to the year either. So,
no,
it
great
is what it
name,
is.
horrible start. But it was a hairline fracture. I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably why they didn't catch it. It was very, very thin, hard to see. Maybe.
You pay their doctors. I'm sure their doctors to pay a lot of money to see that kind of crap. So let's just.
I don't know. Maybe. Moving on, but sticking in the outfield here, Ronald Acuna is dealing with an abdominal strain. Hopes to return Friday. This is big too. Again, it's right there with the Soto news, as in the fact that he was basically number 1 overall,
and he's been playing like number drafts. 1 overall.
And he's been killing it. So that's a big blow for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That I need him back quick. That's the same team I lost Eloy on, and that'd be brutal. All right, over to the home.
One, could you?
What?
I said you couldn't have lost him week 1 too, could you?
Don't worry. At least I didn't beat you 10-0 like I did the next guy.
Yeah, I'll take my 8-2.
Rough. Over to my hometown team, Anthony Santander on the IL with an ankle sprain, likely to miss 2 to 4 weeks. I guess sort of silver lining here is Austin Hayes returned like the same day it happened, which was kind of weird. So he's going to get some reps there. It looks like he's going to start, but they're going to slow play him back into action and mix him in with some DJ Stewart. So they get a bit of a boost over what their value would have been. But it not really excited about either one of those guys. Unfortunately, it sounds like they're just, I really liked Hayes coming into the season. We talked about him a bunch, but it's just not looking like it's really going to work out as well as I was hoping. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe the injury will make it better.
If anything, it'll get him some consistent reps, and maybe he can figure some things out. But also, what we've seen with him when he's gotten reps is that he just ends up getting injured. So, he's already been injured once. Maybe that happens again. Hopefully not. I'd like to see him actually play for, maybe 4 or 5 games in a row. That'd be a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
But who knows? We'll see. We got Joakim Soria. He is already throwing, so that's good news for him. He should be returning pretty soon, but keep an eye on him.
Yeah, real quick there on that one. Just noticed today, after I made these notes, Stefan Crichton is actually injured today. He's now day-to-day. I had a comebacker hit him in the hand, so it may not be serious. X-rays already came back negative, he'll probably be sidelined for a couple of days, and he was kind of like the fill-in closer. So if you're in a saves-only league and you picked him up, hoping he could get some saves from him, you might be able to just drop him because it sounds like Soria's back any day now, and you're not going to get saves from Crichton for the next couple of days probably.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that situation overall, but hopefully Soria will be back much sooner than later. And then we also have Yermeen Mercedes. He left Tuesday's game after fouling a ball off his foot. It looks like he should be back for tomorrow's games, but we've obviously seen weirder things happen with Captain Hairline fracture, Mr. Bellinger.
See Cody Bellinger, yes.
So just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, because he's been fire to start the season, man. I got him in a couple spots, and I'm loving the returns. To my apparent man crush is what you guys called it over the off season here, Mike Mastakis. It was weird. Like he got sick over the weekend. This past weekend was set to return on like Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was Tuesday, and then all of a sudden they scratched him last second and put him on the IL. And it was like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully it's nothing serious. And obviously they're not saying what it is. It doesn't sound like it's COVID. You would think of like it's an illness going to put you in the IL. It might be like really bad. I don't know. It just seems odd. Like, I hate to say it, man, but like the Mancini thing kind of just creeps up in my mind when I hear somebody like just randomly getting sick and then going on the IL and like there's just nothing being said about it. Right. And so like I'm hoping it's not that. Moustakas is a great player and I hope he's back soon. They're saying, they hope he's back next week when he's eligible, but we'll see. Next guy here, Gavin Lux, went on the IL with a wrist injury. It was retroactive a few days before because he hadn't played for a little while. Sounds like it's not going to keep him out very long, and he was actually taking grounders today on the field. So Chris Taylor, who did have a little bit of a boost of value, is no longer going to have that, and I'll get to that later too. But yeah, Gavin Lux should be back soon to take that over.
Yeah. So I want to jump in real quick with a tweet that was just posted by producer Jeff from Stats by Stats. Each of the first 8 outs recorded by Christian Javier tonight came via swinging strikeouts.
Woo!
He is the first Astros pitcher to get his first 8 outs in a game by strikeout since Jim DeShays on 9/23/1986.
Not even a Verlander one.
The Dodgers.
Woo, that's pretty.
That is awesome. And I really hope like hell the guy that I'm playing does not have him. All right. So moving back into the injuries here, we have Starling Marte. He's on the IL right now with a fractured rib. Not really a timetable that we've seen yet. This opens things up for Lewis Brinson, who's been called up, but it's Lewis Brinson. So I think you should know what you should do there.
Drink.
Not add him. Yes. Drink heavily if you already did add him.
Christian Yelich is the next one up, and we discussed him last week as well. The update now is that he's on the IL. So, again, back injuries can linger, and that's kind of what we said last week. And, I mean, honestly, I don't think there's any guarantee he returns even when he's first eligible. So, I think they're going to slow play with him. And, they should, because back injuries can really just linger big time. We start Lewis Brinson right now. No. Trent, have you been drinking more than us? Stop it.
Not fair. So we've got Gene Segura is now on the IL with a quad strain. Obviously, this is not good news for me and my fandom. Brings up Brad Miller. He's been starting, but they also called up, the once top prospect, Scott Kingery. Kingery has not been very good. So the once top prospect is why it's there, because he's not been good. So maybe he's somehow tried to get some confidence back by being, down in the minors to start the season. But I don't know. I think the Phillies have just kind of screwed him up a little bit, honestly. But not really interested in either of these guys right now. But Mickey Moniak has been making some noise. So if you're looking for some intriguing help, he might be there that you want to go look at.
Yeah, it's the bad situation over there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh man, and one that really kills me is Dinelson Lamet. Took a chance on him in one league. You know, I waited on some pitching and took a chance. I knew he was injured. I knew that's a huge risk, and he returned Wednesday. Looked phenomenal through 29 pitches. 4 strikeouts, no earned runs, 29 pitches. That was great. Forearm tightness. Yeah. We all know what that means, right? We all know what that usually means, right? That's the close to the same initials as yours, but not quite. That's the TJ. Tommy John is screaming Tommy John, man. They actually had him scheduled for an MRI, and now they're saying, no, we're going to wait to see how he feels. What? Just go get it done. Like, what? Are you guys on a budget with your doctors that know what the team is on? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, just go get the MRI, figure out if it's bad, and just make the decision. He already had elbow surgery over the all season, so that we know there's something wrong there. Like, go figure it out, get it done, make him out for the season, let people move on from him. But you know, it's a tough situation because we see how good he is. That slider is unhittable. So it's crazy. So yeah, it's tough, man. Like, if you don't have IL spots, I think you're moving on from Lamet at this point. I don't think he's coming back for a while.
Yeah, he's definitely one to just get rid of at this point, which sucks because I'm a big fan of his as well, and I don't think I did end up getting him in the one league. I was thinking about it, but we dropped down to 10 teams, so I figured, he'd be sitting there anyways. Next one does hurt me a little bit. Cueto is on the IL with a lat strain. I mean, he's been pitching pretty well this season so far. It was a viable streaming option, but not right now, obviously, because he's not healthy. But that's exactly what happened. I picked him up as a viable streaming option, and he immediately got injured. So par for my course.
It's all your fault.
Yes. Steven Strasberg is on the IL as well with shoulder inflammation. He does not have a timetable for his return. He's been throwing from about 75 feet or so. He could still be a couple weeks away at least. So keep an eye on that. If you're a Strasburg owner, if you are a Lance Lynn owner, you know that he just recently went on the IL as well. Trying to think if that was, because I own him in both leagues that I'm in and started him, and he also immediately went on the IL after that. It did sound like he is likely to come off when first eligible next week. So that would be good news for the Lynn owners. What was the other one that I saw? I know you're going to rip into the ones from today, but yesterday, Brandon Nimmo was pulled
I did miss that
from
one.
the start, and he also did not start tonight.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sorry, I missed that one. Yeah, so the injuries today, the updates today. Brian Hayes, he was close, it sounded like, but he suffered a setback with that injury and that wrist injury, and he's who knows at this point. It's so fresh, like we don't know. I mentioned Chris Taylor. He was scratched today with back tightness, so any small value bump he got is kind of out the window with Lux, imminent return. And then Jack Peterson, he hit the IL today with left wrist tendonitis. And guess who they finally called back up who should have got the spot in the freaking first place? Nico Herner, man. I have no idea why he didn't get the call, why he didn't get the job over Bodie. Like, I was so mad because I drafted Herner late in one league and was just like, he was my fallback for second base because I died on the hill that was second base in that league, and it didn't work. So now I got to go spend more fab money to go get Herner back, I think. So that pisses me off. Anyway.
Yeah. So just back to the Nimmo, he's dealing with hip stiffness. So he was potentially going to be back today, but they kept him out another day. So keep an eye on him. Kevin Pillar's taken over for him. Kevin Pillar is basically David Peralta.
He makes some good web gems every now and then. It's a good ESPN guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, all right, let's move on to some ads here. So these will be guys that you're looking at that are available in basically 40% or more of your leagues. Phillip Evans is the first guy we got here. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there struggling at corner infield. I am one of them. Evans, pretty hot start so far. So he's hitting 3 home runs in the first 8 games. Not too shabby. He has struggled a bit since then, but the StatCast profile is very good, which makes me want to give him a chance.
All red, man. If you go on that Baseball Savant page for him, it's all red. I'm like, whoa. Okay.
It's very, very enticing, to say the least.
Yes. Yeah, it's something you want to pay attention to for him. Who knows if it'll really continue, but it's, again, corner infield, even first base, third base for certain people, it's bad out there. There's a lot of injuries. It's worth the shot, man. Like, I thankfully didn't need to go out and grab him anywhere, but whatever.
Yeah, why not? Next guy we got here is Manny Margot. This one hurts me to have to see and read because I had him in a league and just dropped him.
Was that ours?
Yeah, it was.
I snagged him, and I was shocked when I saw him out there. I was like, "Wait, Manny Margot?" Like, yes, click.
He wasn't playing.
I needed an outfielder.
I
was like, "Yeah, I'm taking Margot over all these scrubs out here."
every day, I would go and be like, "All right, I'm starting Manny today. I'm feeling good about it," and he would not be starting the game. I'm like, "What is going on here?" He just was not playing, and I don't know what the deal with that was, but. He's still a sneaky 15-15 guy, and he's got 20 steal upside. So if he stays healthy all season and actually gets playing time, the steals are going to be there. And that's why it was very hard for me to want to drop him. But I needed players. I needed people that were going to be there because I was getting my ass handed to me from you. And then last week, it was kind of more of the same. So... whoop-de-doo. But he was available at 69% of leagues, which is absolutely crazy. Considering all these outfielders that were just talked about in the first section of injuries too. So
I've got at least 3 injured outfielders on every team of mine right now. And if you count my dynasty team, I've got like 7 injured outfielders on that team. It is insane how many outfielders are injured right now. And not just injured, they're on the IL. It's not like, oh, they're day to day. They're done. Like, who knows how long. So, thankfully I got Hayes back in my dynasty league. I was like, sure. And that was the same day Moustakas went on the IL. I was like, great. I don't know. It's just like we're going to trade one for the other. I'm picking up guys off the dynasty waiver wire that just no business in being picked up right now, but I just need a body, Anyway, moving on here, and credits to Jeff for this one, pointing these out to me on our team that we share for NFBC. Travis Shaw and Jesus Aguilar. I'm going to mix them together. 2 first base guys here. Shaw's producing some pretty moderate power numbers. Good RBI numbers, good run numbers. The average is a little lacking, so take it for what you will there. Aguilar, however, who is known as somewhat of a power hitter, he has yet to hit a home run, but his average is amazing, 296 right now. So honestly, like, I think with these guys, like if you're in desperate need for first base and things like that, or just rostering somebody who's severely underperforming and shouldn't be rostered anymore, go ahead and drop him and pick up one of these guys and just get production right now. And just ride it out and see what you can get later. Maybe another hot guy comes up, maybe another free agent pickup comes up. But Aguilar's power is going to come. It's going to come. His that's what he's kind of known for. So that's coming. Shaw is going to be what he is. I think the average will pick up a little bit, but we're not expecting a 300 hitter out of Shaw, maybe a 250 at best. So Aguilar probably going to drop to like 270, and we're going to get 25 home runs out of him, that type of thing at this point. So pick the guy you need based on your team. And, just like I said, just get production, because I guarantee you some of you out there are dealing with first basemen who are just atrocious right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of atrocious, we're talking about Jerks and Profar, Mr. Eligibility on everywhere in the field. No homers yet. Okay, that sucks. But he's got a solid overall 254. I guess that's good for him, probably. 3 steals. Okay, I'm liking that. And 10 runs scored. That's where the butter is right there. Even with Fernando Tatis back, he's still seeing plenty of at bats. So Profar has some sneaky value here. And I mean,
again, he's got outfield eligibility.
Yeah.
He's got infield eligibility.
The outfield issues that we're dealing with, and he could be a plug in there. And we still don't really know how long Tatis can really stay on the field this year with this injury. So, I mean, it's good that he's back, but he still scares me. So if something comes up and he has to deal with that, or decide to actually go and do the surgery now, Profar is going to benefit from that.
So we were just talking good things about Christian Javier. So he just hit Mike Trout in the elbow, and Mike Trout is in severe pain. I no longer like Christian Javier, because guess who my other good outfielder is in our league, who I've lost Eloy and Acuna at right now? Oh yeah, it's Mike Trout. Guess who is no longer winning this league if I lose all 3 of those guys? This guy.
Me. Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, you're not winning it either.
We'll see.
We can just hand the trophy
second place
to
last
Tyler.
year, and I barely paid attention. So suck it.
I don't think anybody was paying attention last year.
Correct. I paid enough attention to get second place.
Yeah, not happy about that news coming out. Oh my gosh. I just hope it hit him wrong. I don't know, man. It's just, oh jeez, God, I did not need that news tonight. All right, moving on here to some pitchers, and started off here with JT Brubaker, the Pirates. He has allowed a single run in each of his 3 starts this season. Granted, he's only pitched 15 and a third innings, so he's not great for quality start leagues, but 18 strikeouts in each of total out of those 15.1 innings pitched. So, I mean, look, he's a guy who just needs to be rostered. There's easily guys on your team who are not performing. Yeah, maybe they have bigger names, but you've got streamable pitchers on your roster, guaranteed. Go ahead and stream in Brubaker, and if he keeps performing like this, keep him.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we got Huascar Ynoa. He got roughed up in his most recent start here.
Brutal.
But overall, still a pretty solid line. Pretty much thanks to the 2 dominant starts he already had before this last one. So, maybe this is just a blip. I'm still holding on to him and liking what he's doing. So he's out there. Keep an eye on it and go after him. Brady Singer, bad start. Really bad start. But he's had back-to-back starts with 11 innings pitched, 1 earned, and 12 Ks. That's very, very helpful for your ratios. And only 3 walks. So Singer's been looking really good the last couple starts here. See if he can keep it up.
Yeah, I was one of those ones that took Singer super late in a couple leagues, and as soon as he got blown up in that first game, I was like, he was my last pick. Peace. Wish I hadn't done that, but I'll make it up. I think he's replaceable, but again, he's a guy who
Yeah.
needs to be owned more than I forgot to write down the percentage ownership here, but it's one of those like I looked at it, I was like, what? Nobody paying attention? Okay. The last guy here is Kohei Aryara. I think it was it Kurland who was on during that one, or was it Matt Williams? He was the one who brought him up during the AL West preview that we had, and it made me go look at him a little more. And I was like, wow, this okay. So I took a chance on him late, like in deeply, like NFBC leagues and things like that. And the first couple of starts were rough. He got beat up pretty bad. It just didn't look good. He wasn't getting any strikeouts. It was nothing. He just looked like he was lost. Turns out that he was trying to use the fastball a lot more than he was in Japan. And so he went back these last two starts and started doing, his unpredictable style where he's got 7 different pitches and he just throws people off all game. And so he's done that and he's done it very well. And I think he's definitely on the radar on the ad list here for somebody who needs some pitching help for sure. So, I think Jeff, did we drop him in our NFBC league? Shake your head. Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was a mistake because we need pitching help. Then he would have helped. So it's unfortunate. Like, you see these guys come in, they don't have any experience. You see them get lit up the first couple of games. You're like, all right, they don't got it. Well, who knew that he wasn't throwing his real game? And now that we know, it's hope. Major league hitters will adjust to that as well, but it might be a little bit longer when you've got 7 pitches that you're going to have to adjust to. So he's a guy who I am interested in, picking up and maybe hanging on to while it's working. So, all right, let's move over to the drops. And I want to preface the drop list here with all of these guys that we are about to mention, some of them are pretty big names. There are guys that, honestly, if you can trade them for anybody better that's on the waiver wire, awesome, right? And obviously, league and team context matters when it comes to dropping guys. Like, I'm not telling you just drop this guy just to drop him, right? You have to have replacement value that's better, or even comparable. But these are guys that are on my list of guys that I am willing to move on from if you can find something better. And first off, here's Josh Bell. Man, we talked about how bad, first base and corner infielder is, but he's one of the guys. He's hitting 161, only 1 home run yet, 8 runs scored. Fine. That's okay. The hard hit rate, which was something we mentioned in the offseason when we did the NL East preview, has actually gone down again this season. And yeah, it's 3 weeks. Fine. I get it, but it's gone down more. I think we'll see the average tick up because he's got a really, really bad BABIP right now. And that's probably not going to continue, but I just don't think we're going to get this power surge that we saw back in 2019, or maybe he may never eclipse 30 home runs ever again. Like at this rate, with him, I'm just not sure it's coming. The StatCast data, we mentioned it. We mentioned it with Philip Evans. The StatCast data for Bell is like a lot of blue. And let me tell you, if you guys aren't familiar, red is really good, blue is bad. So
hot and cold.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that. Yeah. So this next guy we got here, I actually did just recently drop. I just couldn't take it anymore. And that's someone who's very similar to Bell. His average should tick up a little bit more because of his crazy low BABIP. His hard hit rate is 34%. K rate is way up to 31%. And that's mostly why I dropped him, because the league I'm in that I had him is penalizing for strikeouts, for points, and that sucks. So I got tired of seeing negatives next to his name every day.
Yeah.
His name is Gavin Biggio, because I had not said that yet, and I know I did not say that yet. It was all part of the plan. He's also not batting at the top of the lineup, even with George Springer out. I mean, he has yet to record a steal.
That's what people got it for, was like the power speed combo. Like, and it's not working.
It's not, and it sucks because, you know, I was kind of torn on him, how, you know, whether or not I wanted to draft him, but, you know, once the Springer news hit, it's like, okay, well, this could hurt his value a little bit more. But, you know, Springer's been out and he's still not doing anything. So it's not Springer that caused the problems. At least not right now.
No, definitely not.
I mean, I moved on from him, and I can't remember if I picked this guy up for him or not, but Enrique Hernandez is rostered in only 47% of leagues on ESPN, at least. He is second base and outfield eligible for the Bo Sox. I mean,
and he's batting at top of the lineup.
He's been killing it. Yeah. He's
good.
just had a stretch of pretty bad games a week and a half ago, but since then he's been on fire. So
yeah, like I said, well, I didn't say this, but if he had been under 40% available, or over 40% available, I mean, then I would have put him in there, but he just eclipsed it. But so another writer and co-host of the On Deck Circle podcast, Nick Zanaboni, he just tweeted me that looks like Trout's fine. He's on base. He was flexing the elbow a little bit, but he's not out of the game, so I guess that's a good sign. So, whew. Yeah, hopefully, man. And another guy here next to here for our drop list, and we talked about him last week, is Keston here. I'm done. I just can't with him anymore, man. His stat line is so atrocious right now. Like, it's awful. He's striking out at like a 37% clip. Yeah, it's down from what it was last week, but geez, like, it's just so bad, man. I don't know what else you can do with him. He's dropping in the lineup. He didn't even start last night. He got like a pinch hitting duties in one point, but he's batting 118, 1 home run, 5 runs, 5 RBIs, and then a steal. Like, I know it's early, man, but like, he's one of those guys that I know you probably drafted him pretty high because of what he did back in 2019, and you were just kind of writing off 2020 a little bit and hoping he would bounce back, but it hasn't been good. The strikeout rate is rising, as we mentioned in the off season, and we mentioned it last week too. The StatCast data is not good for him. Hard hit rates dropping. Like, everything's just nothing is pointing up for him. And we said this exact same thing last week. I gave it another week. I'm done. Move on from this guy and go get second base. Is tough to move on in, but hopefully, you know, maybe you can find somebody who wants to buy the name value. That's all I can think of with this guy. But I don't want anything to do with him anymore. Just done.
I'm completely off of him now as well. It's not worth it. Even with as bad as second base has been in general.
Kevin
Biggio, also a
shockingly that might be close. No, I mean, at that point I'm taking Hero, but oh man,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he wrote Keaton here. I'll put the real one up. Typo, I get it. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's getting that, man. It's getting that bad.
So next guy we got here,
man, his exit velocity is 90. Ugh. Not good, man.
Yeah,
he's just not making contact.
So Victor Robles, you know, trying to figure out whether or not this was the year for the bounce back was a fun fun little thought that we had, and that is now gone. The 204 average is garbage. The 0 home runs is garbage. The 1 RBI and 1 steal. No, you're not cutting it, dude.
I mean, hey, he's got 4 runs. Does that count?
No.
No. Okay.
Doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
He's walking 13% of the time. That's way above his average. That's just the only thing he's got for.
In leagues where you get credit for walks.
Hey, OBP leagues, he's at 350.
Somehow get 7 points per walk. He might have some value for another 4 days.
His 41 ISO. Oh, gosh. Get out of here.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I mentioned how bad the hard hit rates were for everybody else so far. His hard hit rate, 17.7%. 17.1%. Sorry. Gave him a little too much credit. Soft contact, 31%. Bye-bye. Get off my team.
Yeah.
Thankfully, people were reaching on him a little more than I was, because I was all for the bounce back. I thought this power speed could be a little more, maybe not what it was before, but I was kind of in on it. But I'm so glad people were more in on it than me. That's the one place I didn't screw up.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time you weren't paying a lot for him in your drafts, unless you were really buying into the bounce back. So I think you can easily go out, find someone on the waivers that's producing, let's see, 2 RBIs or more, more than 1 steal. There's probably a handful of people out there doing that. And the average, that's probably pretty easy to find something better there. And I will want to add another name here, another bigger name, teammate of Mr. Robles, and that is Kyle Schwarber. Again, it's tough because he's owned, again, ESPN 73%, a little over that.
I was using the Fantasy Pros player rater page, and I think it does like a combination, so I don't know what his...
I'm not sure what his is on that. I just had my team up for Schwarber, so... he's got 1 homer, 2 RBIs, a 200 average, 0 steals, so 3 runs. He's worse than Robles. I don't know how that's even possible, but he's found a way to do it. And it's like if Robles was 2020, then Schwarber is 2021 saying hold my beer. It's like, hey, let's have a fisticuffs battle of who can suck the worst on this team. Again, Schwarber did miss some time early with the COVID issues and whatnot, so maybe he's just not in his groove yet. Maybe it will come. It's a hard cut because he's rostered so heavily, and someone would likely go out and still scoop him up on the name value. But he's got 19 points in my fantasy league that I have him in.
That's
19.
rough.
And he's another guy that's just like a -1, a 0, a -1, a 0, a 5. Whoa, slow down, buddy. Calm yourself.
5.
All right. 8, 0, -1.5. I can't deal with that. The negatives are new this year, and it just really bothers me. So maybe it's more personal.
So he is rostered in 66% of leagues, and I guess I didn't realize that Fantasy Pros didn't list every player. They only listed the top 300. But I wish I had him on there. But again, he's so... I'm actually shocked he's rostered so high. Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, I wish I had known that earlier. That's my bad on the research, guys. Conforto's up there, but I don't think I'm cutting him yet. He's a little too good, but I think he's bouncing back. Kyle Lewis is up there, 85%, but obviously he was injured. I think I don't think there's anybody you're trying to cut right now. So yeah, I mean, there's some other guys out there. Dansby Swanson hasn't been playing well, but I'm not cutting him either. So yeah, there's some other guys out there that are really far down the list. I'll tell you one that's interesting, and he's gotten some news, is Gleyber Torres. There's been some rumblings that, they might, I don't know, sit him, or I don't even know what they can do with him right now, but he's batting 186, and it's ugly for him right now. No home runs, 4 runs, an RBI, and a stolen base. It's not pretty for him. He's a guy who I don't think I'm cutting or trying to, but I'd be willing to trade him if somebody wants to buy him off of me. I think I'm moving on from Torres. Like, he was another one of those guys that we wanted to see a quick bounce back. And yeah, Trent said the same thing as you said last week, AJ, with Torres. We talked about him last week. The Yankees play the Orioles next week. So yeah, don't worry about Torres. Torres got 3 hits today. So yeah, I mean, maybe he'll get his crowd together, but
that's all he needed.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know. Because of how bad he played last year, and because of how bad he started out this year already, like he's one of those guys. If I have him, I think I might just bide my time with him, because you're probably not going to get a whole lot for him. But if somebody really wants to give you something of value for him, I'd be all for it. Forrest over here saying he's a buy low. Yeah, I feel you. I just don't really know what I'd be willing to give up for him at this point, because yeah. Trent says sell as high as possibly you can is when after the Orioles series ends. Yeah, he'll probably hit like 7 home runs in those 3 games. So, because that's what he does. So it's an interesting play here for him. But just some guys to watch out for. Again, as I said before this segment started, be mindful of, these are just guys we're talking about are not having good starts, and you can move on if the value is right. It matters with your team, the size of your league. We kind of go with the average, 12 team leagues, 26, 27 roster spots type of thing, corner infield, middle infielders. So that's what we're going for. If you got much deeper leagues, then these guys probably are nowhere on your drop list. I get it. You're much shallower leagues, some of these guys might have already been dropped, that type of thing. So again, don't just take what we say for a Bible, just take it in context and use it use it as a tool for you to make the right decision. But with that being said, I think you and I are kind of done, AJ. We're going to let Jeff run the show tonight.
It's about time.
I know, man. I'm just going to sit back.
Oh, my God. I hate all of you. All of you. It's just awful.
Welcome, producer Jeff.
Oh, my God. I don't get paid enough for this.
That was Klingon for hello. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks. I've been here. I'm here every week.
You love every minute of it, right?
Usually held at gunpoint. But no. So what we decided to do, and this was Joe's idea. I get credit for 98% of the show, but this one's actually his.
What?
So Joe brought up the idea of doing, like a this or that, or play A or B. So we're doing who would you rather roster. And the entire week, Joe was on pins and needles waiting to get the info for this. And the best part is he still has no info about this, because
I was just trying to figure out what game we were actually playing so I could type up my show notes. That was it.
Yeah. And that was production stuff. Anyways, so what we're going to do?
Shtick. Hello.
Yeah. No, it's stuff that nobody needs to hear about. It's top secret. Anyways, what we decided to do, and by we, me, this is going to be 5 rounds. It is a player A and a player B. I have included stats. Majority of these are very similar players. And one thing to consider is that when you see player A and B on a specific round, they are going to be at the same position, or they can play that position. So it isn't just like strictly like a catcher versus like catcher. If that catcher also has like outfield like eligibility, so they could also be going against an outfielder. So I wanted to give a little bit of variability with that. And then after Joe and AJ decide which player they want. I will reveal who they are as well as their ownership on Yahoo and ESPN, so that you realize, oh, that's pretty low. I should try to get them. You at least have that information. So, you guys okay with that?
Sure.
Can you handle this? All right. So, this worked earlier, so let's hope it works now. So
it's not OBS and it's not your computer running it. We might have to get rid of the overlays.
Yeah, overlays off.
Yeah, anyways, overlays off. Yeah.
If people are 50 minutes into this, I think they know what show it is.
Damn, so, another blow, man. I don't know.
Okay. So here we go. The first, we see the stats.
Just have a banner for it.
What you're seeing here are two players that are not necessarily playing their greatest, but they are still fantasy relevant, especially if you are in an OPS league. So we will start with Joe, since he tends to talk the most. Between player A and player B, who would you rather?
To me and my ability to out-talk everybody.
How dare you? Don't give AJ ammo to talk more. Jeez. What is wrong with you? That is a bad idea.
Joe, who would you rather have, player A or player B?
Man, I wish there was some like metrics with this instead of just like the flat line.
Listen, the reason why we did this is because it's fantasy based, even though we all clearly use Fangraphs and all that.
I know. I'm gonna go with player A, even though the average is low. I'm gonna guess this guy is probably just having a bad early start with some bad bit luck, and maybe the ones he's hitting are just going yard right now.
AJ?
Yeah, I think I'll go with B. The stats are very close here. One stolen base more. Okay, great. Neither of these guys might be steals guys, and this guy just happened to grab one. I like the power stats there though, so I'm gonna go with that, especially in the OPS league. It's 200th, 1000th. I don't know. That's very, very meaningless. So I like B.
All right, you guys ready for this?
Drum roll. Let's do it. Yeah! Oh, man, Trent Dickerson nailed it. He got saved with Freddy Freeman. That was awesome.
Okay, so as you can see, Freddy Freeman, bad start to the year. Clearly, though, he's still, MVP. And if you actually look at the AL MVP, Jose Abreu isn't exactly hitting lights out either. He just by chance has 2 grand slams this year. But this is also why Carlos Santana, despite whatever he's batting, his average wise, he's always fantasy relevant because he walks and he just finds ways to run with the ball. And let's be honest, Kansas City is playing good baseball this year. So
yeah.
And he's part of it as one of their only major offseason additions. And as you can see, especially on Yahoo, still pretty much available if you want him.
Yeah, that's pretty staggering.
Yeah. Never mind. Move on. So I was gonna ask a question, but I realized it was all on the board. Go ahead.
All right. Our next, who would you rather? As you can see, this one is a smaller sample size.
But, I know who player B is.
but yeah, there's major production out of both these players so far. AJ, who do you want?
Wow. Oof. I'll take A this time because you already know who B is, so I'll stick with A. The 1,205 is. There's no way that's sustainable.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I?
Absolutely no way.
I think I know who B is.
Okay, well then pick who you want.
I'm just gonna. So yeah,
you guys can like the same player. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with A. No, I'm gonna go with A.
Okay, Joe, who do you think B is?
Is it Naquin?
No.
Does he have more at bats?
And it's Tyler Naquin.
Yeah. Naquin, sorry.
He has more at bats, and actually, he has a much worse average than
B
Jordan
is,
Luplow.
I was just gonna say, I actually, when I saw his stats on the player radar today on Fantasy Pros, I almost added him to our ad list, and then realized he had 30 at bats. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not good.
But what I found interesting, this is one of those ones where like I had to sit there and like, kind of shock, is that Akil Baddoo has been arguably the biggest story, for this
Right.
guy, Rule 5 pick, talk about add. And Jordan Luplow, who really is a platoon player with Ben Gamel on the Indians, has actually been like exponentially better than
Phenomenal.
Gamel in his situation. So, and as you look, he's
Opportunity.
actually better than Baddoo, technically, again, also unsustainable, but also widely more available. So if you're someone that can do, daily waiver ads, like why not ride him, while he actually, bats against certain pitchers.
Yeah, if you know he's going to play that day, go ahead and
Yeah.
if you can stream your hitters, which most people honestly can't in those types of leagues,
Yeah.
in those size of leagues, but because you're going to drop a guy that's going to play 5 out of 7 days a week for a guy who's going to play 2.
Yeah, and
It's tough. But
Yeah, and it's funny, since I do a lot of DFS at Fantasy Labs, he always like tops the outfield model, no matter if it's DraftKings or FanDuel. He's always at the top, even when he wasn't like doing as well as he was like the first week, because he was playing the White Sox, and they had a lot more lefties and stuff like that to face, and he was just sucking. But now it's just like he's clearly better. I wouldn't be surprised if he just gets more opportunity over Gamble, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it could happen, but right now it's not, and so that's why you take Baddoo. Although Badoo's sitting a lot more recently over the last
he
week.
has,
He's been benched a bunch, and so that kind of sucks. Seems like he's only facing the righties, so which is the good side of the platoon, but still that hurts.
All right, our third group here. As you look, a lot of similarities again. And then I added the K to walk rate on purpose because you'd be kind of surprised at how one player actually is walking, considering who he is. This also, I guess I'll kind of let it slip a bit, the third baseman. So, Joe, would you rather have player A or player B?
Man, this one's tough. I'm gonna go B. I like the fact that a little bit more power, a little bit more run potential too. It looks like. I'll take the dip in average just slightly if it means I'm gonna get a little bit more production out of him.
You mean considering like the league average right now is like 233 or something like that?
No kidding.
AJ, would you rather have player A or player B?
I think I do like A better. I mean, the production is there. Plus, you're getting the better average. The K's, again, I already talked about, suck in my one league, but this to me seems like it's okay. He's still walking at the same rate as the other person. So, yeah, I like A.
All right. Also, fun fact: both these players have eligibility at first base. It is Colin Moran and Rafael Devers.
Devers, yeah. AJ, I'm killing you.
You
How
act
are you
like
killing me? I have the better picks.
You act like it's this, like, another thing that this just displays is that sure, it's a bad start, but also Colin Moran's in a walk year. And if you guys forget, he was one of the key pieces in the Garrett Cole trade between Houston and Pittsburgh. So it's pretty much, if he ain't cutting it with Pittsburgh this year, what is he going to be going forward?
I think what
Retired.
But here's the thing with Moran, though, too, right? Is that
High school baseball coach.
So yes, we know the Red Sox offense isn't nearly as good as it was, but it's still pretty good. Verdugo is hitting like hell right now.
I would like to say that you're wrong, Joe. They're top 5 in offense.
I was going to say but look, was it? What I'm saying is it isn't as good as it was. It was like out of this league good a couple years ago. It is still phenomenal right now, and so people are underselling it. And I was a couple weeks ago too. Like, I didn't think that they were that good. When you get shut out by the Orioles the first weekend of the year, like, I kind of was like, all right, bye guys, you're off. And I just whatever. Devers had a horrible start. Moran played for the Pirates, man. Like, their offense is awful. And so, like, the runs aren't going to be there. The RBI opportunities aren't going to be there. And so, yeah, he can be a good fill-in guy for an injured player here and there. But Devers is the guy you clearly wanted here. So,
well, yeah, but did you also know that Pittsburgh's in the top half in baseball in offensive WAR?
yeah, it's 3 weeks.
So you are so damn selective when it comes to where like, oh, it's 3 weeks. Oh, we need to give him more time. You literally just did that in this segment with Rafael Devers against the Pittsburgh offense.
Devers had a bad week.
Okay, and maybe Pittsburgh they've had a bad like 20 years. No, but I found it interesting that the power is there for Colin Moran, and that is something that was expected out of him a handful of years ago.
I think he's better than where he was being drafted. I do agree with you there. I just think, again, the opportunities with that offense is going to struggle throughout the year, more so than Devers hitting around JD Martinez and Verdugo and Bogarts, and they got some players there to where Pittsburgh it's rough. So.
You can make an argument too that the division sucks in the NL Central too. So
the division of the AL East isn't great right now either. Honestly, Yankees are dog shit.
Yeah,
honestly, dude.
Yeah, there's something.
And we all know the Orioles aren't very good. So okay,
all right, so we are going to go to our last hitter. This is round 4. Yeah, this is interesting. So the reason why I have this is because I think both of these players are extremely underowned. So AJ, wow, would you rather have player A or player B? And I say that because I think both these players honestly should be no less than like 90% owned in season-long leagues.
I was leaning B because of the more at bats and the average still good, but the 4 steals, you got to go after that. I think the runs are a little down, RBIs obviously down, but you can find runs and RBIs and power elsewhere. The steals you can find, but I think they're potentially harder to come by, and in less at bats. I mean, 4 steals already. I like that. The OPS, I don't. That might not sustain, but I'm going with A.
Joe,
I'm leaning A. Also, I'm trying to figure out who it is. I have the name on the tip of my tongue, but I can't spit out right now. Yeah, I'm going A too. I wonder if like it's a player that was like hurt the first week or had like a team that was hurt by injured,
COVID issues,
stuff like that, and so clearly like this guy's good, and just that's what we're dealing with here with that. And I mean both these guys look like they should be owned way more, but I mean the at bats are a little low for both of them. To be full-time players. B's closer, but A, and that could be the reason why they're not as owned as you think they should be. But I'm curious, who are they?
All right, so they are both second basemen that I think should be higher owned.
Is one Joey?
Yes, Chisholm and Ty France. Yeah, I have Ty France. All of
I have Chisholm. All right.
I have Chisholm in one league too because I was desperate.
So yeah, he didn't get a lot of bats to start the year, and he was down towards the bottom of the order.
Yep.
And then he goes and hits 100-mile-per-hour fastball up and in against Jacob deGrom, out of the park. So
yeah, like first pitch of the game, or whatever the hell the crap was.
It was insane. But yeah, if you look at their ownership, entirely too low. It's been up. I've written about both multiple times in waiver columns and other sites, but you need to read Fantasy Six Pack, company man. But yeah, I just really, I don't understand, especially like you guys mentioned, you see the 4 stolen bases and 46 at bats. It's more sustainable than not because that's Chisholm's one of his things.
Yeah.
He also, he did project to have power despite being a smaller person. They just didn't know how. And then you see him hit that pitch by deGrom, and it's like, okay, I get it. Like, you got to have fast hands to hit a 100-mile fastball up in the zone like that. So Both these players are great. I know Ty France was traded from San Diego, where he was getting a pretty good amount of bats in last year's shortened season, and I was concerned he wasn't going to translate in Seattle's lineup. And obviously, they've had a lot of other younger players come around, and he has been nothing short of fantastic, even before Kyle Lewis came back. So,
Yeah.
and he's hit middle of the lineup too, which is great on that team.
Ty France had like an epically good spring. And I was able to grab him pretty late in every draft I got him in, and I love it so far. Is he a league winner? No, but like he should be owned in he should be rostered in more than 62% of Yahoo leagues and 50% of ESPN leagues. That's criminal. Jazz, I sort of get the low ownership because people are skeptical still, like with the low at bats. I get it, but yeah, at this point, guys, we're rostering people who are way worse than these guys. Go just play the waiver wire game. You got to. You're going to eventually. I promise you.
And not just that too. He actually has draft pedigree. Like he was a very high draft pick, and he's actually made it. And that's something that matters in baseball more than I think than most other.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, Chisenholm would have been like, bam, immediate ad. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, man, he failed like once. We're done with him. Like, okay. How many times have we seen that story happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's actually up to 65% now rostered in ESPN, which is a jump of 49.8%.
Yeah, this is all stuff that I got before stuff today. So obviously waivers could have, with daily, especially in ESPN and Yahoo. So no, that's great because that's one of those guys. I wrote him as like a skeptical ad like week 1. And then last week it's like, yeah, I was wrong. You should have added him right away. It's just one of those things and it's great too, because he's actually really good. He's animated and there's really not much excitement in Miami right now. So
I was added him on the 15th of April. So
it was funny. Yeah, it was funny because in that in TGFBI, and I've mentioned this league a couple times. That was the league where 16 second basemen were drafted within the first 13 rounds, and I didn't draft a single one, and then realized, oops. And so I put in the chat. I was like, "You all just drowned me in second base, and it is awful." And somebody jokingly went, "Hey, draft Chisenholm. He's having a good spring." And this was TGFBI is like early March. No, like mid-February even. And I was just like, I'll pass. Yeah, I wish I hadn't done that.
And I wish you would say his name correctly. Chisholm,
whatever.
Yeah.
And why do I keep saying Chisenholm?
I don't know.
Because you think of Lonnie Chisenholm, probably.
I don't know who the hell I'm thinking of.
Anyway, Chisenhall.
Chisenhall, yeah. Chisenhall. No, and also Jazz has blue hair.
Yes, that's awesome. That helmet came off. I was like, yeah, it's awesome.
I have to give a little dap to Shakia Taylor. She lives in Chicago, originally from Ohio. She writes for Baseball Prospectus. Did a really nice article on Chisholm this week that is totally worth your read. It only takes about 5 minutes to do it. So check out Baseball Prospectus. It is a free article. All right, we have one more, and I jumped to pitchers for this one, so would leave them out. So as you can see, both of them have pitched pretty well to start the year. They both have a pretty good strikeout to walk rate, and one of them, by chance, has actually done pretty good in hits. So, fairly equal players. Joe, who you taking, player A or player B?
Damn, this is super close.
Games.
I'm gonna go player B. I like the higher strikeout and the less walks.
AJ, player A or player B?
Yeah,
ERA and WHIP is deceptive. It depends on opponents a lot of times. I mean, so does Ks and walks, but to me,
still 2.19 ERA is phenomenal. Awesome.
These are phenomenal players.
4 games. There's still 2 quality starts in there. So yeah, I think I like B too.
This is going to shock you guys because one of them we talked about, we were concerned that he was going to be in a 6-man rotation.
John Means. John Means and Nola, man, they're both phenomenal.
I have no idea why this went white either. That's good production value right there. So
My eyes. No, just kidding. Yeah, I mean, I still want Nola more.
Yeah.
I didn't like his draft stock. I still didn't think he'd do this. He's been great so far, but he has those stretches where he's just like not a good pitcher. John Means we all loved, but again, as you said,
We were
6-man
concerned.
rotation. But
It hasn't worked out that way for Baltimore.
He's
That's
been
the thing.
lights out.
He was lights out before
end of last year, too.
Yeah,
he was 2019 and then into 2020 a
we've
little bit before he fell
seen
apart.
it. Yeah, he totally fell off last
And
year.
it's funny
but-
you guys brought up opponents. Like, would you rather face the AL East if you're John Means, or rather face the NL East if you're Aaron Nola? Like, those are both like competitively looking at batting lineups. They're both fairly close.
Toronto Yankees, Red Sox hitting lineups are phenomenal.
Yeah,
Rays are iffy.
yeah.
Hitting wise. NL East, obviously they don't have to face Philly, but Philly's not hitting the ball worth a damn right now, so that doesn't matter. The Nats aren't hitting the ball really well right now either. So
No.
okay,
I blame COVID a little bit for that too, because that really messed up.
yeah, that screwed him up.
I mean, that's
So,
what
I mean, yeah,
totally
Atlanta's
derailed the
on
whole
fire.
Robles bounce back, honestly.
Atlanta's on
what it
fire,
was.
honestly, and then the Mets are kind of meh. So honestly,
The Mets are
NL East-
figuring it out against the Cubs. Just the Cubs have figured it out too this week.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that more on the Mets or more on the Cubs pitching staff?
Oh, the Cubs pitching staff is awful, but
Right,
but Lindor finally got off the schneid and got his first home run, and it was
Yes.
a monster blast. Peter Alonso had another home run tonight. I know for
Peter
sure
Alonso is
against the
going to
Cubs.
hit 230 with 30 home runs. So
You
that's
see
fine.
that? You see the exit velo on his home run last night?
No.
115.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
So,
I
yeah.
still want Nola here. I
Yeah.
I think that division actually might end up being easier to pitch against than the AL East in the long run.
the
once
one
everybody-
stat that I didn't include, I didn't mean to interrupt there, but I did.
It's fine. course you
The one
did.
stat, I think the one stat that may have given it away. Aaron Nola has a complete game this year, and you can pretty much count on your fingers how many complete games have been thrown this year. So, like, that was one thing that I kept out on purpose because
that's no hitters.
but those
So-
but those actually but like complete games matter a lot more now than they did even 10
yeah.
years ago.
They're,
So-
they're rare. They're so rare.
exactly. So that
Yeah.
would have been too much of a giveaway for me.
No, that's cool. No, yeah, no, this was great stuff, man. I love just going through this process and having to think it out. It's sort of a game. I try to play like, well, was he trying to trick me here? But I mean, I was being honest. Like, I would rather have X player and more just because I'm trying to think of like, I know we always get these like hot starts from these guys who kind of are nothing and kind of how I figured you went about it, but it's still
With some of them, yeah, because obviously you look at like Badu and Ludlow, like
right.
Ludlow, like
Yeah,
that
both
those are two hot
unexpected
starts.
players. Yeah,
Two hot starts
Yeah.
from the outfield. Like, how do you really judge them? Like, both these guys have track record. Nola clearly longer. You're talking Chisholm and France, two guys, that are expected to be, important in their
those two
lineups.
were really good.
And at
Those
second
good
base,
too.
which has been a cesspool, as we talked about here earlier. So yeah, it was just interesting that some of these guys popped up the way that they did. So
There's probably like 83,726 questions spread out through Twitter about some of these names. Like, which trade should I accept? Badu for DeGrom or Scherzer for DeGrom?
Mhm.
And some person's going to be like, dude, Badu all the way, do it. And then they're going to lose DeGrom because of that. So
yeah, no,
Yeah, but maybe
they
this
may
is-
not lose him, but
maybe
those
this is something
offers are going out.
and maybe we should try to do this like once a month.
yeah,
and see how
I
it
like
goes.
this.
So like our
I like
last
this.
show,
Yeah.
our
Just-
last show of every month. Even
Yeah,
though it's not
well, this one's
one.
a little weird because of obvious things. Obviously, we can mention what's going to be happening next Thursday. Obviously,
need a calendar.
so-
No, it's not.
Forever show, baby. NFL draft.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. So for those that don't know, the NFL draft
shows.
is,
All right,
is
so we have 5 shows in April. So that our 4th show.
We don't have a fifth show in April because we're not doing this one. NFL draft is next Thursday. For those who don't know,
Oh,
apparently AJ doesn't know. And
AJ.
So,
you paid
what's
me
the
to do
NFL?
2 shows?
so
Is that the new like English soccer thing that's going on?
Hey, yeah,
Is
yeah.
that a-
football. We're doing that. No, yeah,
We're doing
so
a Super League draft.
Let's
UEFA?
close this out.
Is that how
So
you say it?
next
UEFA?
Thursday, We're doing our third annual live NFL draft show. For the last couple of years, it's been me and Seelan Laku doing it. This year, we're gonna include a few more people. It's going to be. Let me get my list up here so I don't murder anybody's names here. Going to be Bob Van Duser, who is a IDP specialist, John Witt, and Kyle Williams, all a bunch of guys who've been doing a lot of good draft prospect articles on the website, and you guys definitely go check all those out. They're on the menu there. Go under football, and then 2021 NFL draft stuff there. Check that out. We got rankings, we've got mock drafts, we've got a whole bunch of things, and so all of us are going to be on next week. We're gonna have a bunch of guests. And I'll be tweeting out the guest list this next week on Twitter. So go ahead and check that out. But there's some good guests coming on here next week as well to help us out here during that show. But it is live during the draft. So jump in and out, depending however you want. If you want to sit out for the whole 4 hours, appreciate it. But I get it. Probably not. But we have a good time. We put back a few of these and we just chill out and talk some football, man.
Am I producing that show?
I think Keith said he'd help out. So if you guys can talk about it if you want to. Maybe you guys can split the work. But
we'll sign up for a team.
I don't know. I think the Eagles got taken by somebody else randomly. But if you want to jump in for another team, feel free. AJ has no idea what's going on. He didn't even know it was draft next week. So I
have no interest.
We're just gonna kill the show before AJ looks like more of an idiot. Although I do appreciate some of that.
He got a haircut, so he put a cap on it.
I lost a lot.
We don't Grizzly Adams over here.
I'm gonna go ahead and pop my next beer, the Mind Haze, because that's about where I am right now.
Yeah, that sounds like it. That's pretty fitting.
We'll be talking about the FNL draft next week. So be sure to bring your soccer cleats and your tall socks. Okay. All right. Shin pads everywhere. Let's do it.
All
right, man. Jeff, thanks for helping out tonight, man. That was a good segment. We'll definitely have to incorporate that in as the season moves on. All right, guys. Good night, and check us out next week for that NFL Draft live show. Peace.